How did you become so miserable?
What do you think? Overwatch.
But I love being in Overwatch. It feels good to make a difference.
All that difference comes back to bite you. You'll see.
Is Marvel Rivals the Overwatch killer?
No.
I don't think so. Is Marvel Rivals an Overwatch competitor? Yes. Ready? Whee! Is Marvel Rivals gonna dethrone Overwatch? I think so. And with Season 1 around the corner, this is going to be my first impressions and a look into the future of what I think Marvel Rivals is going to become. If you're not familiar, Rivals is a team-based hero shooter made with a roster of Marvel comic book characters. What makes Rivals unique from other superhero shooters is its team-up abilities. These team-up abilities can be giving Iron Man gamma radiation from Hulk, which give him extra damage, or you can play as Hulk and do a fastball special with Wolverine and feed like I do. As far as the team-based shooter genre of games goes, Rivals and Overwatch are at the top of the podium. Rest in peace, Concord. I'm sorry, little bro, you never had a chance. I wanted to make this video because I see everywhere that Rivals dethroned Overwatch, and in my opinion, it's just a little too early to tell. I think there are good signs of how Rivals is handling itself, and we'll dive deep into that later. But first, let's dip our toes into how both games are similar and different, kind of like a gamer Venn diagram. If we're going to be real here, the best thing that Marvel Rivals has going for itself is its endless supply of characters using the Marvel Universe. Whether it's Spider-Man, the X-Men, or the Fantastic Four, Rivals benefits off these heroes with player retention. Players are going to come back to the game or download it for the first time because Marvel fans will get the chance to play as their favorite superhero. I'd say another big difference is the philosophies about how the team compositions between both games work. So what do I mean by this? Overwatch 2 uses a 2-2-2 format where it's 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 support, whereas Rivals has no team composition restrictions. So if you want to run a 6 DPS team into double tank, please don't be that player that's begging for someone to swap. And believe me, I've had that in plenty of my games already. In my opinion, that's the best part of Rivals though, because it makes you have to learn all the characters in the game. But in Rivals, if you don't learn how to play other players, you're going to get steamrolled. So if you're running 6 DPS into 2 tanks, you're just going to get cooked like a high school player going up against the prime Ray Lewis. Like, you're just absolutely going to get steamrolled. So if we go back to our little gamer Venn diagram here, we will see that Marvel Rivals has 6 players, Overwatch 2 has a 1-2-2, and that's due to their role queue function, whereas Marvel Rivals has unrestricted team compositions. And that is my cat trying to do anything to enter the video. Salem, are you trying to enter the video? Little side note to that, I also love the fact that the devs in this game are also doubling down on the open team comps. As the developers state, the team's goal is to offer a wider variety of team compositions through team-up skills in their own designs to let people play Marvel superheroes rather than limiting players to choosing a role. If you ever get a chance, I'd read Overwatch's blog post about why they switched to 5v5 because it's really interesting. I'll post something in the description. But basically, the switch to 5v5 can be boiled down to queue times. Overwatch 1 queue times were horrendous because so many people want to play DPS, and depending on which rank you were placed into, your queue times would be varied. So I don't play Overwatch as much as I used to, but I was typically placed around Diamond, and in Overwatch 1, a Diamond queue time would take extremely long, whereas in Rivals there are no restrictions on team comps and you can find games in under 30 seconds, which is amazing. I'd like to just say that it's very early in the lifespan of Rivals, but the philosophy of patching characters is extremely different. In Overwatch, if you're not running the meta tank and the supporting heroes around that tank, you're pretty much just cooked. Like, you're just gonna get steamrolled. This is because Overwatch patches their characters very differently than Rivals, whereas they give heroes little buffs over the span of several seasons, which makes heroes become oppressive. If we're going to go back to our gamer Venn diagram, so we have unrestricted team compositions, role queue, and in my opinion, because these two exist, you're going to get faster queue times in Marvel Rivals, at least in my experience so far. In Overwatch 2, the role queue leads to slower queue times despite their efforts and making it into 5v5, which led to quicker queue times, yes, but as read by the blog post, they attempted to fix the queue time issue by switching to 5v5, and yes, it did help drastically, but in my opinion, the gaming experience in general for Overwatch 2 is worse than Overwatch 1, because I believe, and many others, do not think that Overwatch 2 is meant to be played 5v5, as there are plenty of tanks such as Zarya, Diva, Roadhog, and so on that just do not fit the 5v5 format. They don't fit the 5v5 format because they weren't designed to be fitting in a 5v5 format, as they were other roles such as off tanks, which I'm not going to get into because that's a whole video topic in itself in general. But then we get the issue where because these tanks weren't meant to be in 5v5, the Overwatch 2 devs decided to overbuff them or underbuff them, or give them small buffs which over the various seasons will make them very oppressive, and then nobody wants to play Overwatch 2. I mean, I took a break from Overwatch 2 because Mauga, Hog, and Orisa were receiving buffs over the span of like 3 or 4 seasons, and we came into the problem of we're just in a cycle of Hog, Mauga, Orisa, Hog, Mauga, Orisa, Hog, Mauga, Orisa, and it's like, dude, I just don't want to play anymore because them tanks are awful to play against. While editing this video, I had the bright idea of, oh, why don't I just look at the 2024 patches for Overwatch on Hog, Orisa, and Mauga. And dude, yo, no wonder I'm about to crash the f*** out on this game. Like, bro, there's no way that they had the Javelin Spin cooldown reduced from 7 to 9 and 9 to 7, or Hog reduced from 50% to 40%, or 40% to 50%. Like, how many times do we have to see the same goddamn patch notes? Like, I know I'm not part of the dev team, but dude, no wonder Overwatch players are about to crash the f*** out on tank. Like, there's no way they keep doing these micro tweaks and micro buffs that make them so oppressive in the long run of the game. Like, it's so crazy how I haven't seen many, like, streamers or content creators just crashing out on this game, bro. Like, dog, if I have to go through a whole year of Marvel Rivals dog shit patch notes, like, yo, bro, I might have to crash out on this game too. But for the moment, like, I'm not gonna lie, if we were gonna, like, move the gamer Venn diagram, I would just put W devs on the Marvel Rival side, because as far as I've seen, the patch notes don't look that oppressive. Like, they finally nerfed, like, Hawkeye and Hela and everything that the community's been asking for, like making Captain America, like, not that useless, but he's still pretty good. But, like, if they make some dog shit patch notes like these over the span of 2025, like, yo, bro, I might have to make a crash out video on this game.
Look, the people decided they were better off without us. They even called us criminals. They tore our family apart. But look around. Someone has to do something. We have to do something. We can make a difference again. The world needs us now, more than ever. Are you with me? No.
Yeah, chat. I don't know about this one. Overwatch might be actually cooked, so I'm about to go to a game that's way more fun.
Yo, Cam, you trying to get on some Rivals?
Hey, O'Brien, you on Rivals? You are? Alright, bet. I'm about to join you in a sec. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, Overwatch is definitely cooked. I'm going to be playing this all 2025.
That game is dog shit. Get on Rivals.
Is Marvel Rivals just a better game that's worthy to be in the top of the class of hero shooters? Or did everyone just get Overwatch fatigue? I'm an Overwatch player myself, and I'd say that Blizzard has been giving the player base most dog water patch notes, especially if you're a tank like me, for a long time. I mean, even the most recent patch notes we went over, they're just god-awful. And in my opinion, Overwatch has been digging itself in a grave for at least the last year of 2024. I jumped over to Rivals, and I'm happy with it, in my opinion, after playing it for Season 0 and a little bit of Season 1. I know we're only a day in, but I'd still say that they have put out more content, and I'd say that it's just a better game. It's more fun, tanks feel really good, DPS feels really good, supports feel real good, everything just feels good. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of weird that Overwatch did drop 6v6 as soon as Rivals dropped, basically within 2 weeks of each other, which is kind of weird, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna end this video with a couple of questions down below that maybe you guys can answer. Did Marvel Rivals dethrone Overwatch, or is it too early to say? Do you think Overwatch fumbled the bag, or do you think that Rivals or Overwatch needs to drop more content, and we can come back to this discussion in the future and talk about who dethroned who. And that's it. Don't forget, like, subscribe. Thank you so much. This is my first video that I've made on the channel. Pretty much my first video I've ever made. So I hope you guys like it. Put a little bit of time into it. I'd like to say thank you for watching. See you next time.